Hiya, and welcome back to Password, the game that teaches us that the Yeen just needs a hug. He just needs a hug. Just that Will Ferrell song. Anyways, let's just hop right in. The chime was music to my ears, and I quickly turned to Thanatos, that smug smile still on his face. Well done, sucker! Much like before, I blacked out, conscious only of me falling to the floor, but not registering me landing. But this time was different, stronger maybe. I could feel coldness. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me, but I could feel something like it all the same. It was like opening my eyes slowly, as if I was learning to use them for the first time, but then I saw it. Rather than just a flash, something stronger, as if I were standing there in the moment. I could feel a different kind of cold as my eyes lay sight on it, on him. I couldn't quite smell it, but with how much there was, no doubt that it'd be the only thing I could smell in the night air. At the edge of my vision, I could barely make out the distinctive yellow of Orlando's scales in the dim light, but he was there, or rather, what was left of him. It burned itself into my mind, and I had to gasp for air as the room came back into focus. Sure enough, I was on the floor, splayed out on my back with my head pounding with a newfound headache. Had I hit my head, or had it just been a case of what I'd seen? Either way, it was a struggle to move. Even fueled by wanting to intercept Tyson. Right? Thanatos? Rolling onto my side, I saw him standing there, leaning on something else. Help, I've got to stop Tyson. He's gonna... As my vision began to focus in on the thing he was leaning on, I trailed off, once more my blood going cold. Was hoping you'd be awake by the time I got back. I snatched the license he was leaning on, sitting up and staring at the picture in a daze. Parts had been chewed upon, but everything important was still intact. Before I forget, you're in luck, You're in luck, you know. Full moon isn't... How did you get this? I gestured with the license, clutching it desperately in both hands as I looked down at it again. That was left here. It's my dad's license. Yeah, and he was here. What do you mean he was here? Oi! Don't yell at me if you want me to explain. Let's see. Rocked up in cities, wanted to talk to Oswin. Looked pretty grim if you asked me. What did they talk about? Don't know. Don't care. Look, all I can tell you is that I saw him and he looked like someone marching to his death. Left here sometime a few hours later in uniform. Oh, okay. And he left his license behind. Sure seems that way. I clenched my jaw, knowing full well that Oz went out of the picture. I only really had Benson to ask. Even then, there was no knowing just how much of the conversation he'd overheard, but at least it was something. Look, you know what's coming, so I'll throw you a bone. Next full moon isn't tonight, so relax. What am I meant to do about it? Tyson was... And Orlando. Don't ask me. I'm just a rat. You know what? Tell me something. Why'd you give up so easy about why I can talk way back when? Same as why I didn't question Roswell. Seemed impolite to ask why you could talk when... Why wouldn't you be able to talk? Rats can't talk, but you're standing right there. I pocketed the license to free up my hands before I forgot, frowning. Thanos has no chill. Which means either rats can talk, or you're not a rat, right? A lot of this we already read, so we're just going to be holding it out in control. A lot. I got up, looking at the card in my hand. You said something about a full moon before, right? Hiya. That's right, not for a couple nights, so you've got time, potentially. How do I stop Tyson becoming that? Oh no, that's all on you to solve. You do your own lifting. I'm just a spectator. You can't help even a little? What's even your goal here anyway? Oh yeah, what was it again? Right, none of your business. I helped you out, you helped me out, simple as that. What did I even help you with anyway? Guess you'll have to wait and see. Tapping the card in my hand, I looked around, wondering what was to happen next. Well, time to go recharge. Right, thanks for showing me this, I guess. Was taking up space in my cage. You can take it from here. Sure. I looked down at the license, and when I looked back up, Thanatos was gone. I wondered what my next move was. At some point, I had to confront Tyson about what I'd seen, but Thanatos said I had time. He knew about what I saw, so there was no reason for him to lie about it happening in a couple of days. Oh yeah. If anything, my mind was racing about having talked to an actual robot. The whole thing felt so surreal that it didn't even seem real, but my grasp on what was and wasn't possible seemed to change every day of this vacation. You know, a lot of this, we're just going to be holding down control. Yeah, I probably wouldn't without his urging either, to be honest. What I saw was surprising. How bad is it? Bad. Tyson seems to have gone feral and mauls Orlando during the full moon. If that's the case, then I suppose we have no alternative, do we? What do you mean? Tyson is reckless, and if he's able to take down Orlando as you saw, then who knows whom else he has claimed as a victim. Dealing with the problem now may make things easier. Deal with him... how? Lethally. If worse comes to worse, I'll put him down the moment I catch wind of something going wrong. There's got to be another way. How long till the full moon? I don't know why you'd expect me to know that, my boy. Although I imagine it must be soon. Please let me try and deal with it first. I've handled the others so far without anyone dying, so there's got to be a way forward without harming Tyson too, right? With Oswin gone, it's my duty to keep you lot safe. If you truly wish me to stand down for this, I will to an extent, but I will not be holding back should he make the first move. That's all I ask. Tyson's just as important to me as any of the others, so there has to be a way out. Much like how I couldn't imagine Tyson mauling Orlando, but that was what the vault had showed me clear as day. Yeah, a lot of this we're just going to be holding down control. Do we want to put him down? No. We sat there for a few moments before I breathed in deep and looked up at Tyson. He was calm enough, a stark contrast to what I'd seen in the vault. What? Have I got something on my face? No, just thinking. About what? Just what's going to happen in the next few days, that's all. Why? What's going to happen? Hopefully nothing, but I don't know. If it does, I just want to be ready. And I'll get a gun or something, I don't know. How will that help me be ready? You think you're able to pull a trigger if shit hits the fan? Don't worry, I've got your back. That is the most out-of-pocket thing I've ever read. Like, that is the most out-of-pocket thing I have ever read. Just, if you do, you will literally fold them into a two-dimensional cube and send them to the Philippines. That is very out-of-pocket, and I love it. I sighed out, rubbing my eyes as Tyson stood and wandered to the door. I'm gonna go get dinner. You want anything, or are you planning on sleeping? Don't know yet. I might be up, I might not be. Feel free to check on me if you want to do something, though. Turn them into napkins. Oh no! But just thinking about my troubles made me remember what was looming over me in a couple of days. Specifically how many I didn't know, but that was a job for the coming days. The Vault, or Thanatos, had told me that at least. The full moon was going to be the next marker when something was going to go wrong. If I hadn't seen him myself, I might not have believed him. Part of me wondered if I still did, knowing full well that Tyson wasn't a werewolf. He couldn't be, they just didn't exist. But the reality that he'd killed Orlando was hard to shake after I'd seen the state of Orlando's body and Tyson in the light of the full moon covered in blood. So, what are you going to do now? Hearing the Thanatos in my dreams talk sent chills up my spine. He was taunting me to do something. Not that I needed the encouragement, I was going to save Tyson and Orlando, I just needed to figure out how. But the prospect made my head hurt, and as it surged through my system, the dream began to fade. Come on, Junior! It's all on you now! And I knew it was, but the stress of worrying about screwing it up made my headache all the worse. I had things I needed to do today, mostly checking in on Ty, maybe Orlando, and figuring out when the next full moon was. Then I had to follow up on why my parents were here and what the connection was. Had to be more than what I'd been told already, but maybe I was just being hopeful. So much of this is the same. If anything, it was a reminder of what I had to avoid, and Tyson was getting worse, it seemed. Whatever the cause was, I had to figure it out and do something to stop it. By the time the three of them emerged from the kitchen... I already read that. Unless I've already read. Like, damn. Whining out, I tugged at my ears, doubling down. Then there's the whole thing with Tyson and the password, and it's all just... Hold on. What password? I hung my head, covering my eyes with my hands. I couldn't rightly tell Orlando that Tyson was going to kill him, could I? That felt like it'd just make things worse. It happened again. I got the vault to work. And you didn't tell us? What was I meant to do? I panicked. Well, that's easy. We go call a group meeting now and try and stop it. Just like when we went looking for the gun, right? He made to get out of his beanbag and I latched onto his arm, putting as much dead weight as I could to anchor him to the spot. No, no, not yet. Well, you're going to have to give me a good reason, Dave. The others deserve to know. It was you. Me? What? It was enough to make him sit down and hear me out at least. He repeated the question before I could figure out what to say. Everything that happened yesterday led up to me trying things out in the vault and, well... The blackout? When you came to find Tyson and me fighting? No, it was after, but you and him fight again, or might, depending. And... who? The way he asked told me he already knew the answer and just wanted me to confirm it, which I did with the look I gave him. Oh... There's time we can still figure out a way to stop it from happening. It just might take some work. Well, where do we start? Alright, well, next we have... We're not done? Well, not really. There's a password to sort out. Oh, right, well, hit me with it. How bad? You sure it was... kinda messy. I told you about how you died. It's only fair. Well, alright. Tyson goes feral on the full moon. He tears into you pretty bad. It was hard to make out what was left. Orlando shuddered, and I swear he went more pale in what light we had. Okay, that's fine. I just have to stay away from him, right? I don't know anything else about it, but I think we should find out what the cause is. What do we have to go off of? Just the full moon, really. Oh, and the password itself. Something must have clicked in Orlando's head as the next look he gave me was the epitome of unimpressed. Don't say it. But it's important? I can put two and two together, just ugh. I don't think that would be something to worry about now. The only other thing we've got to go off of is Tyson's behavior lately. He's not himself. Got any ideas on the cause? Nothing solid, but I figured I'd start with checking out his bedroom. He said that his headache was pretty bad, so maybe he's not sleeping right? Give Tyson headphones with his fave music on loop. On loop and problem solved. Does he like Barbie Girl by Aqua? No. He seems like the kind of person to jam out to... Who was that one artist? To jam out to Aurora? Like, this could be just my gay hopes. This could just be my gay hopes with Tyson. This could just be my gay hopes. Oh my god, I'm so excited for Five Nights at Freddy's. But no. This could just be my gay hopes, but I am pretty sure that he listens to a weird mixture of Aqua by Barbie Girl. That specific song. Just Aqua. Yeah. Aqua, Barbie Girl, Billie Eilish, Aurora, and Korn. Nothing solid, but I figured I'd start with checking out his bed. Yeah, I already read that. Alright, well, in that case, I'll check with Rothwell when the next full moon is. Why Roswell? He was right about one thing when we did this investigation the first time. He's academically inclined, so he's bound to know, more so than Sal at least. But if I run into anyone, I'll ask them all the same. Barbie World by Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj? No. Barbie Girl... No. Barbie The Barbie Girl by Aqua. You know, the 90s song. It's like, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic. It's fantastic. Oh yeah, I remember the original Pet Cemetery. When we're done meeting the kitchen, maybe? Alright, shouldn't take me too long to find the answer to our question. We'll have the kettle going by the time you get back. We split off from there to begin our search. Really me beginning mine and Orlando likely just heading to the kitchen to keep his mind off of what was about to happen. Cure for me. Oh, I like that song. After knocking and getting no reply, I eased the door open and stepped inside. Ty? In lack of response after knocking, I assumed he wasn't in here. But looking around and seeing just how bad that was the case made me feel like I was doing something bad. Ty was always welcome in my room, but not having permission to do the same felt wrong, even though I was here for a good reason. In and out. I'll be quick. That's all. Nice and quick. Tyson listens to Ariana Grande's God is a Woman, of course. Ah! I slapped my face gently to try and shake the feelings away so I could focus on my investigation. Ugh, Ty. First thing my eyes landed on was a pile of things off to the side that seemed to be collected from around the house. Part of me hoped he was only borrowing them, but something told me he intended on taking all this home with him. Drifting through the pile to see what he'd gotten, most of it seemed to be the semi-expensive stuff from the games room, plus a couple of smaller trinket things that looked expensive. Just planning on selling all this stuff or what? You tell me! Thanatos? In the flesh, or the equivalent is anyway. What are you doing here? I should be asking you the same thing. Looking to put that stuff back or add to the pile. Neither, but God, I really should talk to him about this. Stealing's bad. Glad someone thinks so, but that's not really my business. Now, why are you here? I was just checking Tyson's room. He's not here, obviously. I can see that. No idea where he is, though. Unless he's in this room, nothing else matters to me. Why's that? You sure do ask a lot, don't you? If you want to be helpful, you can open that door for me so I can get out. I'll let you out when I'm done. I just want to make sure there's nothing in here. Well, if you're trapping me in this room like a cage, at least tell me what you're looking for. Anything to help me save Tyson from doing what I saw in the vault. Any ideas? You're asking the wrong rat. I don't have any ideas, just commands to fill. Including all the times you bust out when you're not supposed to. I might be a machine, but I'm allowed my freedom. Says who? Thanatos froze briefly, looking me over and staying perfectly still. Doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? I didn't think machines could be free if they're just, computers. Well, I'm special. You should know that by now. Yeah, sure. Rolling my eyes, I got down onto the floor and started looking under the bed, covering my nose in fear of the dust making me sneeze. What are you looking for now? Why do you keep asking me that? I told you already. Maybe I'm just waiting for you to notice it. I pulled my head out from under the bed and looked around. Was I meant to be noticing something? Except for the mess that Tyson had made, it looked just like my room. Maybe I'm giving you too much credit. Unless you're going to help me figure this out, just be quiet. Please. Fine, I'll wait if that's how you want to be this time. What do you mean, this time? Have you forgotten? I remember everything from every past iteration. Sometimes you clue in right away. Sometimes you don't. Actually, that seems to be the new normal behavior, really. Come on, Thanatos. I'm just worried about what's going to happen. I'm not some know-everything machine like you are. Works every time. Alright, I'll help, if only because I have places I need to be. I rolled my eyes, sitting back against Ty's bed and looking to Thanatos. So, what am I looking for? You tell me. Figured out what sets the wolf off yet? Only thing I have to go off is his headaches. They happen around when he wakes up. And you started by looking under the bed. Seemed like a good enough thing to start with. If his bed was uncomfortable, he'd have just told me. Fair point. But were you expecting some monster under the bed? Look at it from my perspective. I don't know what causes headaches. I don't know what's happening to Tyson, and neither does he. What else am I meant to do beyond look up when the moon is full? When the full moon is, Let me ask you this then. What would you be willing to spend to keeping him alive? Or Orlando, for that matter. Anything. You never change, do you? Always a self-sacrificing route, but that's just something I'm going to have to work with. What do you mean? Say for a moment there's a chance that you can all survive this month. Say that in order for that to happen, someone's going to need to know what's going to happen. Using the vault? That's one option. The other option is to be the vault. You're actually willing to help, or are you just messing with me again?
If I wanted to mess with you, I just would. I didn't go showing you your dad's license yesterday for nothing.
You weren't commanded to do it?
Not exactly, but to fulfill my commands, you needed to know your folks were here.
And you can just reason that out.
This ain't my first time doing this, remember? Iterative design at its finest, yeah.
I don't know. The fact that you can just design whatever outcome you want almost makes me wonder if I have a choice. In anything.
You have options. Always do. I'm just responding to what you do as if we were playing some little game. Game of chess or whatever, yeah.
So, whose turn is it now?
Yours. You found me in Tyson's room. Now you have to decide what happens next.
Well, how did you get in here?
Snuck in. I was just told to be in here. Wasn't needed for anything else today.
And what were you needed for?
I was commanded to be in here. It's my job to try and get what you saw in the vault to happen.
But you were just saying you were willing to help.
I am. Would be easier to not tell you any of this and send you on your way.
Okay, well, how were you going to get it to happen?
Oh, easy enough. Sure, Oswin told you about how the vault works.
Trauma, put in word, and vision happens if it lines up.
Yeah, but not that. Specifically, how does that?
Because you decide?
God, you're dense. All right. So when a password is flagged, a frequency placed to trip something in your head. High-pitched enough to cause pain and a blackout. Sound familiar?
I think Oswin might have mentioned that.
Right, well, the room that you put the password in has a speaker like the one around my collar. So if I wanted to play anything, I just could, yeah?
You're making Ty see visions of the vault?
Nope, I just have to make him go nuts. Easy enough done by playing something like...
I suddenly clapped my hands to my ears, yelping, "What was that?"
A toned-down version of what I've been playing Tyson. You can hear the real thing because you're not a dog, but imagine hearing that while you're sleeping but unable to wake up.
My head's already starting to hurt. That was awful.
What can I say? It's effective.
So that's it. I just get rid of you and the problem solved?
Yes, but no, not if you still want my help anyway.
I'm listening.
My orders were simple. Hide in Tyson's room and make him go nuts on the full moon. Nothing else. I've really picked the parameters of how to get it done, too.
And you decided playing the sound.
Well, I wasn't allowed to stick him with a dose of rabies now, was I?
My eyes went to the closed door with a frown. And the room is soundproof, which is why no one else heard it.
Got it in one.
And if getting rid of you is out, then I just have to swap rooms with Tyson.
On a technicality, that's not going to cut it. Swap rooms, your room just becomes his, and I go hang out over there.
But if he just borrows my room?
I think I'd be fine with that. Can't really say I went against my orders if he just wasn't in his room, can I?
So you're just going to what, stay in his room and hide?
Pretty much. Got somewhere I need to be first, but yeah, I'll make my way back in later.
But where? Just under the bed in a pile of his clothes?
Under the bed worked just fine for your room.
What do you mean? You weren't...
Every time he spoke to Oswin while in your room, that was me letting him use my speaker.
Thanatos shook his head, throwing his arms up.
Happy now? I don't want to be holed up in here all day, so open the door already.
Almost, just one more thing.
What is it now?
Where do you need to go, like, after here?
Just need to go have a chat with someone, nothing more than that.
I could take you myself. Who is it?
None of your business! Not about to answer that, even if that's nice.
Please? Just pull out the puppy dog eyes, Dave.
Points for trying, but no.
After some more prodding, I gave up when it was clear Thanatos wasn't going to tell me anything else. Opened the door to leave, he basically leapt over my foot to stop me from closing him inside. Caught a glimpse of him heading downstairs but was completely out of sight by the time I looked over the railing to the floor below. I made my way back down to the foyer and took a turn into the dining room. Sounds of others were apparent in the house, but having not run into anyone else, I started to worry. Dave used puppy eyes. It wasn't effective. Oh no! But my worries were put aside the moment I saw Orlando in the kitchen, sitting on one of the stools with a cup of tea, just looking out the window. You're back! Sorry, were you waiting long? Not really. Had to hunt down Rothwell, but he knew the answer right away for the full moon. Though a lot of time with just looking for him. Well, that's good. One less thing we need to worry about. How'd your thirst go? I found what was causing his headaches. It was, something making a noise. A really annoying noise. Really? That was it? Yeah. I looked away as I sat down, grimacing. Well, there were a bunch of things in his room, too. Stuff he'd taken from around the house. Stealing. Yeah. And I get why things have been rough for him for a long time. Given things have been rough for him for a long time. The idea of being able to take things to make up for what you don't have makes sense, but it's still wrong. That seemed to be enough to put Orlando at ease, or at least drop the point. Maybe this will be something to keep him from picking up things not belonging to him, though. Can only hope, though. Who knows what would have happened had you not found the thing, right? We know what would have happened, Orlando. You would have died. He nodded slowly, drinking his tea quietly. Assuming that fixes the problem, then we don't need to worry about tomorrow night. That's when the full moon is. Nodding slowly, I got up and made myself some coffee, joining Orlando back where he sat and thought it over. So, just need to babysit Tyson for tonight and tomorrow night. Then we're in the clear. You make it sound so easy. Not like we have a choice. We can tell the others, get them to help keep him in check. But if one of us is behind making him go nuts or was behind killing you, we'd just be telling them we know what the plan is. We know what the plan is now, but what if they change it? Ah, right. Yeah, like dogs, wolves, hyenas, are all canines. Alright. But after, I think we should talk about it, or talk about what our move should be afterwards. At that point, whoever was behind it would know they failed anyway. Orlando nodded quietly, drinking from his mug while I drank from mine before eventually he broke the silence. Just need to make sure it doesn't get in the way of making sure Tyson stays out of trouble and we'll be fine. Ah, right. Oh, hyenas aren't canines? Oh, shit. What class of creature are they? Okay. What type creatures are not canines, hyenas? It's classified as a mammal. Okay. Okay. The giggly spotted hyena, the striped hyena, the giggly spotted hyena, the brown hyena, and the aardwolf. It's a hyena, not a wolf. They're in their own family. They're in their own family. I find that adorable. They're in their own family. That is adorable. Just hyenas. Just yeen babies. Okay, why is my phone charging? Hyena day. Ah, my phone. Alright. Alright. I should have it handled, though. A lot of this we're just going to be holding down control. Right, well, I was wondering if you knew when the full moon was. It's the best thing I could come up with to keep the conversation moving forward, even though I'd already found out. Just watching Benson there was making me worry, as if he'd just fall apart if we stopped talking. Pardon? If I heard you correctly, I'm afraid you have me at a loss. I don't see why you'd think I'd know such a thing. I told you as much yesterday. Just, I don't know. I'm worried about what's going to happen with Tyson. Or rather, when it's going to happen. So we're believing that rat after all. Very well. As it turns out, I was curious myself and did some digging. Yeah. Assuming what I found to be correct, tomorrow night is the full moon. That quickly? It seems that way. Either this is a joke or some cruel twist of fate that we find ourselves in. We still have options, right? The offer is there if you wish me to deal with the problem the moment I notice it, though you've expressed a want for minimal bloodshed should it come to pass. Right. And there's no way I can get you to reconsider? Benson, just how much sleep have you had? Well, truth be told, I've had very little, even that's being generous. I dare say I haven't had any in a couple of days. That's really bad! Chalk it up to yet another reason I dislike that rat. I can still hear his taunting echoing down the halls. We're just going to be holding down. Ty looked up from the dishes, grumbling. I'm here. What do you want? Oh, seriously, Dave, if you don't need anything, get lost. Rubbing my head, I wandered over to Tyson and picked up a towel to start drying the dishes he'd already set off to the side. I don't need help. Did you want help? Do whatever you want. We worked together for a little bit before I broke the silence, looking to Tyson with a frown. Sleep in my bed tonight. Pass. I'd rather get the sleep in. Right, I'm not going to be using it tonight, so you can have the whole thing. Dave, I don't want to hear about you getting laid. You've been having trouble sleeping or whatever, and my bed is comfy. Just trust me on this. Take my bed for tonight and see how you feel in the morning. You're not going to go into my room, are you? Why? Is there something in there you don't want me to see? No. Are you sure? You went in my fucking room already, didn't you? I was looking for you! He grumbled, wiping his hands after draining the sink and turning to me. I don't need you judging me for the stuff in there. I'm just thinking ahead. That stuff doesn't belong to you, Ty. I'm thinking ahead to us getting home and not having to be broke. Fuck. We have to bail quickly for whatever reason. We can leave it all behind, but any extra money we can get, I'm making use of. What about the money that was offered for just doing the metal hunt? Think we'd find the whole set? Listen, if it fucking bothers you that much, I'll not take anything else. And you'll put the rest back? Looking through gritted teeth, Ty grumbled and growled. Fine. Ty, come on, I should just, what? Leave me alone, Dave. I grabbed his hand and he flinched, ears twitching briefly. I'm being a dick again, aren't I? You're just tired, which is why you should borrow my bed tonight. I'll think of something else. We could bunk up together, but I think you'd like having the bed to yourself to spread out and rest. Spun around quickly to look at me. Mouth open to say something before quickly closing it, shaking his head. Okay, fine, you're right. Hopefully you'll feel better after a good night's sleep, Ty. I'll swing by my room and grab some stuff and head on over to yours, I guess. Sure it's fine? Yeah, I'm sure. I wandered over wondered where Thanatos was right now. If he already made his way into Tyson's room or if that was going to happen later. Well, see you later then, I guess. He waved over his shoulder as he left the kitchen and then out of sight. I finished drying what dishes were left and then followed suit. I was on autopilot as I headed to Orlando's room, closing the door behind me. Everything alright? Yeah, just... I pulled off my shirt and collapsed on the bed, stretching out. My solution to the Tyson problem is for him to just use my bed. That way, if there was something I missed and when I checked his room, he's not even in it to be affected. Your first curse word in this chat? Oh, well, Thor, you can bunk up with me, no problem. Sorry for not checking first, I assumed it would be fine. You're lucky that you have pre-approval otherwise. Yeth, you could have run what your plan with me before doing it. Yeah, I know. Did you want to shower here too? As long as you don't mind me sleeping in my underwear. You could sleep in nothing at all and that'd be fine. Not that I want you to, I'm just saying. He skirted around me and switched off the light before wandering over to the adjoining bathroom and opening the door for me. Go get clean, I'll start warming up the bed. As Orlando went to turn away, I grabbed him by the hand, making him stop. What's that matter? I let go, placing my hands on his shoulder, then sliding them back around to his neck and into the massive fur he had for a mane. Our noses touched, and even in the dim light, I could see the color of his scales shift briefly as his hands came down to find my sides. Nothing's the matter. I can see that, or, well, you know what I mean. Gave each other a squeeze with Orlando lingering just that little bit longer, flashing me another smile as he stepped back. Go on, go get clean. Orlando wandered over to the bed while I disappeared into the bathroom to have a shower. Not long after, I wandered back into the bedroom with my clothes folded, clad only in my underwear, and the soft glow of Orlando's body towards the bed. As I got in, he made room for me, quickly cradling me into his warmth. It was not long after that peaceful sleep found me, worries fading from my mind. There was something scratching at the... Yeah, we already read, like, all this.
Save it. Let's just take stock, shall we? You remember this?
How are you...
It's just your dream, genius. This is a memory.
That's Tyson. Tonight.
Maybe. That depends on what you believe anyway.
What I believe?
You don't know if you trust me. You don't know if you do what I say. Tyson is going to be safe.
You're right. I just don't want him to end up like that.
Guess we'll see tonight, huh?
Dave's going to do sexy stuff with Orlando, I don't know how to feel about it. Hey. I nearly jumped out of my fur from how close he was, looking over my shoulder at the frying pan. He was lucky that I hadn't accidentally flipped the pancake onto the floor, but what was left in the pan was a half-flipped mess. Ty! What? You almost made me screw this one up. Did not. You're just a klutz. Glad to know you're somewhat back to normal, I think. The sleep helped, in your bed, I mean, so thanks. I'm glad. Use it tonight as well, just to make sure you're, like, all good again, all the way. He grunted, wandering over to the coffee machine to make himself a mug before heading towards the door to the dining room. Maybe. You never said a curse word till you were 13 or 14 in middle school. My guy! When I was in middle school, I was swearing like a sailor. I still do. Hell, when I was 3, I was also swearing like a sailor. Something about a train and the word fuck. I don't know. Daddy headed into the dining room. Conversation on the other side dying down as no doubt the others noticed him. I say fuck a lot because fuck is a fun word to say. What are you even doing? Is this another thing you need to do for tonight, or...
Nah, you've got that covered well enough. Pretty sure so long as we have a repeat of last night, you're in the clear.
Then what? Yeah. A lot of this is just the same. Because of tonight.
Pretty much. You keep that wolf bar in your bed for one more night and you're clear. Just don't forget.
I won't promise. Date night. Angie Orlando. The Skrunklies. The Grungies. I wandered back inside and almost ran into Tyson, lingering by the back door. Oh, Ty! Oh, hey. I could see his nose already working, catching the scent of something. Should I ask? Ask what? Why you smell gross? I had a shower. I don't smell gross. Yeah, and you always miss a spot, remember? Oh. Right. Look, I don't really care, good or not. I don't understand. Like, you're happy, yeah? I overheard a little about what happened between you and Dean. I think I'm happy, yeah. Good. But if shit goes down, I'm not sticking my neck out for your boyfriend, alright? Not unless you're safe first. Even if I ask, you're my brother, he's not, that's all. Right, well, speaking of that, actually, I want to draw for my bed again while I remember. Not gonna need it for tonight, at least. Dude, I don't need to hear that. You can already smell it on me, there's no point hiding it. But why your bed, anyway? You slept better in the last night, so what's the harm of another night? He scratched his chin, rolling his eyes. Fine, but only for tonight. We can sort out who's sleeping where tomorrow. Alright. Cool. You heading back upstairs now? Yeah, I think so. I'd offer to give you a hug, but we'll save it for when you don't smell of dragon. Yeah, well, maybe I should hug you anyway, just to make you put up with it. As I went to move forward, Ty flicked me on the nose, making a jolt. Go to bed, dork. I'll see you later. He then headed upstairs, quicker than I'd assumed he'd move. Once he was out of sight, I tried to smell my fur to get a whiff of whatever Tyson detected. It was there, faint, and it was most likely my excitement distracting me that I hadn't noticed sooner. Maybe it was just because Tyson had been focusing hard on me lately. Either way, another shower would fix it, but that was the job for the morning. By the time I got back to the bedroom, Orlando wasn't there, or at least that's what I assumed at first before hearing the shower going. I sat down in the bed and waited, ears perking up when I heard the water shut off. You're back! And you put on underwear? Well, I'd call it a habit with it only partly true. With both me and Keith, I had to go looking for you. He joined me on the bed and put an arm around my shoulder. But you're back! How'd it go? Good and fine enough. Sal was talking to him and he's well, he asked if you'd finally confessed your feelings. He did he? Last time I tell him anything. Again, like, we can just skip all this. Because of Skrunklies. My head hurt. I couldn't tell how or why it was hurting, but it was, all while I slept. I was cold, wet with something fluffy wrapped around my shoulders. High above the sun was warm, bright, in a cloudless sky. How does the Durg have no nipples? I don't think any of them have nipples. Why are we talking about his nipples? The sounds of splashing coming from nearby. What's going on? Dean's telltale chuckle came from behind me, followed by his arms around my middle, explaining the softness I was leaning against. Finally awake? Where are we? Hey everyone, he's awake. Huh? Awake? Yeah, that's worried. I knew letting you dump in like that was a bad idea. What's going on? I didn't understand. I was confused as to where we were, why we were here, but what I did know was that my head was hurting bad.
Dave?
Then it was all gone in an instant. I was floating again in the darkness, and eventually something else surfaced. You can't just stack those bullshit! Are you sure? Dude, calm down. It's not even you drawing the cards, Dave. Huh? I feel my heart rate rising quickly, the confusion only getting worse. These were just dreams, right? But they felt different somehow. The feeling in my head no better either. Then it was gone. Everything came back into focus. And I was right where I went to bed the night before. No headache, heart still racing, but things felt real again. Real, but most importantly, warm. Flexed my hands against the soft mass of yellow I was facing and realized where I was. Must have fallen asleep before Orlando got back to bed. But he was here now. Memories of last night started to come to mind, and I found myself happily chuckling underneath his chin. His arm was draped over me like a blanket and twitched lightly as I moved, but he stayed asleep. Orlando? He was out like a light, murmuring things in his sleep, but had a relaxed smile on his face. Not that I could blame him. He'd wanted this for so long, and nestled up against him like this, I was happy it turned out this way. Not that I didn't have my worries, but somehow we'd make it work. Somehow I'd think of something that would let Orlando stay happy once we were off this mountain. I could feel his hand on my cheek and caught his eye as he breathed in deep, waking up and watching me intently. Good morning. Good morning, Orlando. His eyes lit up, and soon enough I had his muzzle pressed against mine as his cheeks started to flush with a familiar red color. I wasn't dreaming. What? That you have me? He thrummed happily, cuddling me tight to his front, almost a little too tightly. It still feels like a dream! Is it really that magical? Mafia Yeen Mafia versus the Derg Cops. Can Dave even be in the Mafia? Oh no. Dave in a Mafia suit. Is it really that magical? Dave, I love you, but I need you to let me have this. Oh! Yeah, it's super magical! Like a dream, actually! Just stop. Let me gush about my boyfriend for a bit. Sorry! Boyfriend, God, I like the sound of that! I'm gonna get the best food I can for breakfast so we can spend the day gaming, then cuddle at night with maybe a little mischief thrown in there. Because he's getting crushed! Mischief as in... Sex, Dave. Sex. Oh, well, that sounds great, actually. Doesn't it? Oh, my... You know what? Hang on, let me just... Hey, Dragon, this is for you. Go to horny jail. Doesn't it? Although, maybe we shouldn't be so messy next time, otherwise we might both be taking as many showers as you do already. Hey! I like taking showers and being clean and whatever. Showers are fine, but a nice bath is great too. When we're out of here, remind me and we can go to an actual bathhouse. You mean like bathing in public? Wait, no, more importantly, when we're out of here. Obviously can't do our hair. But I mean, you're training. Right. Yeah. But we'll find a solution, Orlando, I promise. We'll find something that works and then it won't be a problem. You're sir? You don't trust me? Low blow, of course I trust you. Wouldn't be much of a boyfriend if I didn't find a solution for you, right? He kissed me again, one of his hands on the back of my head to keep me still. The best boyfriend a dragon could ever ask for. I love you, Dave. Love you too. It was my turn to kiss him first, and that set off the thrumming in his chest as I wrapped my arms around him. Careful or you might not make it out of bed. You're not at all hungry? Now that you mention it, I guess I am a bit peckish. What are you feeling like for breakfast? Toast. And coffee. My boyfriend wants toast. Of all things, toast. Oh, and 1 egg. Dave. 2 eggs? I'll just make you an omelet and we'll go from there. Dave is a simple creature. He's a simple creature. Give the Yeen his damn toast eggs. Let him be a simple creature. Honestly, I feel it though. I feel his entire being. Once we were dressed, Orlando took me by the hand and led the way out of our room. Felt odd acknowledging it as that, but in a good way, something else to get used to. But once the bedroom door was closed, we went down to the foyer and from there into the dining room. Didn't take long for everyone to arrive, each of us taking a seat at the table with Orlando heading into the kitchen once everyone was accounted for. At some point, coffee was put in front of me and I downed it quickly. It was burning my throat, but it did wonders in waking me up. I looked across to who I spent the night with and flashed him a smile, and he flashed me one back. Ah, fuck. He was already doting on me, gesturing to the coffee pot, wondering if I was running low. I mouthed my thanks and he went back to chatting with Haas about something when I went back to my coffee. Benson appeared after a while, quietly walking towards the kitchen as if the rest of us weren't there. He looked like death, disheveled and ungroomed. If I had to guess, he hadn't slept at all. Hey, everyone? The table went quiet when I spoke. I wasn't expecting it to happen so quickly, but I stood up, cradling my coffee cup in both hands. I just wanted to say that, there wasn't a good way to start this conversation, but I at least waited until people had eaten something. I'd eaten already, and having something in my stomach made me feel less anxious, but the weight of what I wanted to talk about was still there. No, never mind. I sat back down sheepishly, looking down in my coffee. But a few moments of looking back at my face in the black liquid, I frowned and stood back up again. No, I have something to say. Dude, just say it already. I'm getting to it. I breathed in deep and looked at each one of my friends in turn, setting down my mug. I'm sorry to bring this up over breakfast, but 2 days ago I got the vault to work again. There was nothing but silence to greet my declaration. My eyes went to the table, uncertain of how to proceed. But I figured not saying anything was worse than just trying. 2 days ago, I was told that there was a password, so I spent the day trying to solve it. Everyone seemed to look at one another confused, but still didn't say anything. I rubbed my head, unsure of how best to explain this without sounding crazy. Werewolf. The password was werewolf, and what I saw was Orlando dead and Tyson covered in blood. There was a thing in Tyson's room that was going to set him off, making a high-pitched sound or whatever. The tension at the table increased, and I looked around again to see if anyone wanted to speak aside from me. For the most part, it seemed as though some people weren't convinced I was serious and others just didn't know what to say. So, the thing is, I didn't say anything because I wanted to try and fix it myself, but also because I didn't want the person behind it knowing, in case they tried to mix it up on us.
Dave, I think you could have phrased that better. A lot of it, really.
I frowned, worried that my explanation wasn't clear enough, but it seemed clear that Roswell was willing to ask anyway.
For the clarity at the table, are you implying that it was someone here that set it up?
Well, no, but maybe. I mean, it's possible, right? Dave, just spit it out. We need the rest, yeah?
Dave?
Yeah?
Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, and it'll be easier that way, I think.
I snatched at my coffee gun and downed it for confidence, and then openly declared what I knew to the table. So someone's been controlling a robotic rat, and that rat was setting off a loud noise underneath Ty's bed. And that was making him go crazy, and he was going to break last night, but I found the rat and talked to him, and we figured it all out. The silence stretched out longer than I would have liked. With how talkative people were before I started talking, I started to chuckle with my nerves getting the best of me. The rat? Eyes were on Dean as he stood up slowly, nodding at me. The rat?
You mean the one we found in the kitchen?
Thanatos.
Ah, the god of death.
No, the rat, the one that Dave was with in the kitchen.
Wait, is that its name? Who named a rat after something like that?
But it's not a rat, is it? Dave just said it was robotic. I nodded quickly. Yeah, he speaks from a little collar around his neck. He's, I wouldn't say nice, but,
No?
I mean, he's kind of a jerk. Is he really? Seemed nice enough.
He's a rat, Dean. He shouldn't be in the kitchen.
Oi! I go where I want!
Everyone had heard it. They were looking about the room for where the unfamiliar voice had come from, but I caught him scrambling up onto the table close to the kitchen. He stood plainly in the middle of the table for everyone to see. Orlando seemed uncomfortable seeing the rat again. Everyone else was a mix between confused and intrigued. Hey, Thanatos.
Heard you were talking about me.
Yeah, I was. He shook his head and looked around at everyone at the table.
Well, go on. I'm sure you'll have questions now that Junior here opened his mouth.
So, the other day, in the kitchen.
Yeah, real classy putting me under the metal thing. Didn't even have the decency to ask.
And then at the table before breakfast. You could have said something.
Just getting a read on you, wasn't I? Didn't even get a chance to get a word out before you started touching me all over.
Orlando shot Dean a sour look, but then turned back toward Thanatos, drumming his fingers on the table. We're not all hallucinating, right? You're actually talking, you're just a robot?
Just a robot is underselling it.
He's the Vault, the AI behind it or something. I don't know why he's a rat, though.
I'll have you know, I am a rat because I need to be one.
Well, I'm sorry I was so rough the other day. Not every day you meet a rat that behaves like you do.
Nah, you're alright. Heard you go with your hands on like a certain someone and wanted to check.
Why is it you're looking at me when you say that?
Hardly got the thing working Benny boy wanted you to fix, eh?
Why not just give it to me? I can get a car working. Can't be too hard.
You can do robotics? Finer electronic stuff?
No.
Then that's why, innit? Files on Dean said he had history, so that's why he went to him.
Excuse me, Mr. Rat?
What?
Sorry. Do you rather just Thanatos?
Or what about something more befitting a defined name?
Listen, you stop that. Thanatos is fine.
Alright, Thanatos, I had a question.
What?
What did you mean by a file?
Oh, easy enough to answer. Got a file on each of you. Just had to go look at them.
Files? What sort of files?
Thanatos. Oh no.
A combination of my own notes and publicly available records.
How detailed are they?
The question seemed to give Thanatos pause, regarding Roswell carefully before giving his answer.
Very. Chances are I know things about you that you're keeping secret from one another.
Like, what?
Hold on. I think it's not worth delving into that. We have no way to verify that he's telling the truth anyway.
How so?
I think a better line of questioning would be, what does it mean that he's the Vault? That might inadvertently answer the question of if he can be trusted.
Oh, he's very hit and miss as far as trusting him, I think. Or he makes it hard to trust him anyway.
Real nice, Junior. But as for being the Vault, what's not to get? I'm the back-end system of it.
Sorry, I still don't quite understand.
Well, if he's a system of the Vault, then it begs the question as to what the Vault does and can do, right?
Well, as far as we know, it does the whole vision thing, right?
You know, I've been wondering exactly how it works, like specifics.
What do you mean?
Well, have you heard the term morphic resonance before?
It was so long ago, but I heard the term before, almost 2 weeks ago. If it wasn't because of the prideful smile on the larger boar telling me about it, I probably wouldn't have remembered. Survival instincts?
Ah, so you're at least familiar on a surface level.
Roswell? Roswell? For those of us who are completely lost, mind filling us in?
Right, I'll keep it short because I'm sure we don't need a lesson this early in the morning. Consider, like, the idea that you can call upon genetic memory to warn you of danger. Like how you inherently know fire is dangerous and things like that.
Really? That simple? I guess that makes sense, so it's just like stuff we inherit?
Yes, but probably not how you're thinking. We're talking multidimensional in this regard.
So, Thanatos can make us remember stuff? Sort of?
If he's telling the truth, yes. Everything Dave has seen so far would just be a past memory for him.
Can I just say how fucked that is? How do you expect us to believe that anyway? How else would you explain it, Ty? Those things never Those things never happened, but they were so clear, so real, I just don't know what else they could be. Fucking drugged up hallucination bullshit, maybe?
Nah, mate, don't need drugs to do what I do. Just a good high-pitched noise will do just fine.
Noise? Yeah, I know, I'm tired. I'm always tired. Ty started to growl, jumping up and hunching over the table. He stumbled over his words, trying to figure out how to phrase what he wanted to, but I could tell from his eyes bulging that he'd put it together. Yeah, Thanatos was under Ty's bed. Ty made a grab for Thanatos, but came up short the moment the rat took a step backwards.
I have a question.
For who?
Open question, I suppose. Do you know who's puppeteering him right now?
Isn't he a robot?
Well, yes, that's what he said. We haven't seen Benson in a while.
No strings on me, that's for sure.
He does what he wants, Roswell.
You're sure? He doesn't take orders from anyone?
Well, yeah, because the person that would be giving him orders otherwise is dead, right? You mean the guy that owns the place? Right.
But he'd need to be taking orders from someone. An AI with true free will is just, it's unheard of, isn't it?
Maybe I'm just special like that. Maybe I just don't think you need to know who I listen to.
Well, where does that leave us then? Didn't you really don't get it? It's hard to process, but the implication to me, at least, is clear. Don't leave me in the dark! The implication that it's one of us, isn't it? A lump in the back of my throat kept me quiet, but I could see looks being shot around the table. The prospect seemed to cause everyone to second-guess the truth of what Salad suggested, and the silence was making it worse. Well, it's not me! If you didn't sound so genuine, I'd be second-guessing that based on how he showed up to talk to you and no one else was around. It's a little suspicious, but I don't think Dean's smart enough to play a long game such as this without anyone knowing. It'd also have meant that he'd have brought Thanatos with him on the bus. See? Can't be me! Well, it's not me either. If I can't put together Boke and ECM, then I can hardly put together a robot, let alone a full AI to run it. Still me either. Honestly, thinking about it logically, it can't be any of us, can't it? Can it?
I'm relieved, but why? I'd have to guess that it's because he's the Vault, right? It's not just making a robot or an AI, but then to make the Vault itself really only means that you need a level of knowledge of this sort of stuff along with the ability to construct it, right?
Rolls me out. I don't have the cash and barely get how this all works. Dave can back me up on that. I only understand this from video games, honest. And your folks are in the mob. You've got the money. I appreciate that you can put that together, but I'd rather spend my money elsewhere, thanks.
He's got a point. I imagine if Orlando Freely had that much money, he'd do something to stop demons and ghosts from threatening to torment him. Much help that'll do him.
What about you, Roswell?
Me? I don't mind the ghosts and demons.
You mean the master of this rap bullshit, smartass?
Oh, no, can't be me, can it?
Why not?
I'll admit I have the smarts potentially, but resources, no.
Isn't your dad a lawyer, though? They make some money.
By that logic, we could be pointing at you as a suspect, given your mother.
So, what I'm getting is that all of us are in the clear, no one could have done it? There was an air of hopefulness in his voice, and he stood up, leaving one less person in their chair. That's good, right? The wrath lying, and then... Orlando's smile faded the moment the snickering happened. Thanatos shaking with laughter as he remained in his spot on the table.
Well done. Very well done.
He rubbed his hands together quickly before looking at each of us, all the while snickering to himself.
You've convinced yourself that none of you is a traitor?
No one has the means or the opportunity, right?
You should know better than anyone. David Holloway Jr.
I finally sat back down, worried about what he was going to say next. It was a primal instinct to react in some amount of fear when your full name was called.
What am I?
The Vault.
How long have I been alive for?
I don't know.
This time around? At least 10 years, I think.
This time around? Oh.
So I'll ask you again. How long have I been alive?
How many iterations of the universe have we gone through?
Now that is something I have been keeping track of. Too many.
Then, is your master alive?
Very good, Dave, asking the right questions. The answer to that is complicated.
Seems pretty easy to answer, given being alive or dead is just one or the other. You can't be both. Guess unless you're a zombie.
Zombies aren't real, are they?
Depends.
On what?
I guess if you get resuscitated after you've died, that make you a zombie, sort of, right?
That's not how that works, though. I don't think you can give CPR to someone whose brain is stopped. At least I think that's what I remember Mom saying. Thank God!
You're welcome.
Not you. Not once. Not now. Not ever.
Killjoy?
So, to summarize, we're left with an unknown master controlling Thanatos who was instructed to torment Tyson, right?
That about sums it up.
Which leaves us with a list of suspects spanning those in this mansion, and from what I got from Thanatos' implication, spanning multiple iterations of the universe?
Right.
So, I have a question for the God of Death in the room.
Yes.
When was the last time you communicated with your master?
Ah, my back. Gotta stop for a minute. The fuck is going on the server? What the fuck? I'm not even going to try to question what's going on in the server. He seemed to regard the question carefully, either weighing something up or trying to figure out if he was able to answer.
Today.
Wait, what?
Any other questions?
When today, did they ask you anything? Again, he seemed to consider the question before answering.
Recent, and yes.
This is getting us nowhere. How do we know we can trust a little shit? We don't really have much choice, do we? A talking rat robot is already a lot for first thing in the morning, but here we are. Well, I don't like it.
Tough luck.
Can't we just ignore him already? But Ty, without him, I wouldn't have known to save you. He's the one that almost drove me nuts, Dave. Under my bed, remember?
He's got a point.
I don't need your backup. I'm wondering about the timing, actually. What timing? Why is he appearing now? Why is this only being told to us now? What's going to happen next?
Easy enough to answer. Junior here caught me in the act. Not to say I didn't try helping him along a few days ago.
A few days ago?
When you started having your little headaches. And when Junior here almost crushed me when I made him pass out in front of you and Orlando.
Ty made another dive for Thanatos and his fingers scraped against fur, but he wasn't close enough still. You fucker! He razzed Tyson and took refuge behind Sal's arm as it came down on the table to block Tyson from making another attempt. Hey, Thanatos, how much trouble are we in, really?
Interesting question, why?
Are you evil? Not quite what I'm getting at, but I just don't go high. Sal said it best that the timing just seems strange. How long have you been in contact with the rat, Dave? Oh, that's a good question.
How long have you been at the mansion so far?
3 weeks, give or take a day or so.
Then about 10 days ago we made first contact face to face. And a few days ago is when we went on a little adventure and had a chat.
I don't know if there's something I need to ask, but were you around when Dave went into the woods by himself?
Yeah, why?
Why didn't you stop him, show him a thing or whatever to make him not go?
See, the thing is, I can't make him go anywhere or show him anything unless he's in that room downstairs. He never went down leading up to it, so there wasn't an opportunity.
But you could have just told him not to go in there. You had even met before at that point.
Well, maybe I didn't feel like it.
Starting to see what you meant when you asked if he was evil, Dean. Did you really not feel like it? What do you mean, some lag? Did you really not feel like it?
Wasn't my call in the end.
What do you mean?
Everything that happened turned out for the best, didn't it? You opened up about your old man, everyone started taking you seriously, and look at you now! Would you go back and change it if you could?
Immediately, the whole table seemed to shift into looking upon Thanatos, and unhappily at that. I don't think so. I don't like that I had to get chased in the woods. And I don't like how being outside stresses me out a little. But if that didn't happen, we wouldn't know who's out there. I probably still would be bottling up what happened to Dad, too.
That's what you said last time, too.
Oh.
Now, while I remember, let me hijack this conversation before we spend the next hour accusing me of things. Roswell had an announcement.
We're going to leave off here tonight. Gotta keep a cliffhanger. Because of course we do. Ah! Ah. Yeah. I want to save that for next time. Anyways, stay safe. Have a good night. I'm using dark mode and it makes me uncomfortable, and I will see you all tomorrow.